Survivor contestants admit Me Too allegations were exaggerated to win the game. Oh no, who would have ever thought that somebody would try and exploit our goodwill to make monetary gain? Look, man, there have been a lot of stories about false Me Too allegations. And I always start these segments by saying that Me Too, for the most part, did a lot of good. But with everything, there's collateral damage. We gotta be careful about that. There have been innocent people who have been accused. Notably, I think Chris Hardwick had to get investigated. You have people like Aziz Ansari had a bad date. But now we have a story about women who lied to win. Listen, a lot of people seem to think it's impossible. They say, don't blame the victim. Don't accuse them. We must believe women. No. People lie, cheat, and steal. That's a fact. And it could be a man, a woman, or somebody who doesn't identify as either. But yes, people lie, cheat, and steal, period. So let's see what happened with the Survivor story and fake Me Too allegations, where I guess they admitted it. Controversy erupted on Wednesday when two contestants on Survivor Island of the Idols admitted that they exaggerated a Me Too allegation of inappropriate touching to win the game. According to People, when contestant Kelly Kim began to complain about a pattern of inappropriate touching from fellow contestant Dan Spilo in Wednesday night's episode, her allegations were quickly corroborated by contestants Missy Bird and Elizabeth Beisel, who both alleged they had similar experiences. Imagine being that person and someone starts accusing you of the worst crime imaginable, or at least a degree of it, and you know it's not true. What are you going to do about it? They say, a tearful Kelly, tearful, really? She was crying. That's weird. Finally felt comfortable coming forward with her experiences when two other women on the show, players Missy Bird and Elizabeth Beisel, said they had similar encounters with Dan and also felt uncomfortable with his behaviors. During Kelly's emotional reveal, Missy went as far as say, it's inappropriate touching, I am not an object. However, when Kelly left their company, both Missy Bird and Elizabeth Beisel admitted they overplayed the allegations in order to position Dan for elimination. Taking this further, Missy advised Elizabeth to encourage another contestant, Janet Carbon, to vote Dan off the island for the alleged Me Too offense. You tell her how uncomfortable you are, Missy said. You have a very open mom-daughter moment about how uncomfortable you are right now. That's our only play. Whoa. There it is. We have a high-profile public instance where women have conspired to falsely accuse somebody to win a contest. You have to imagine, in something as low stakes as this, what about politics? What about things that are actually going to have a huge impact? What about divorces? Is it entirely possible that some people are bad people and some people are liars, and you can't just blindly believe someone when they tell you something? Just because someone says it's true doesn't mean it is. Elizabeth said she felt no discomfort, but promised she can play up that card in whatever way possible. Yeah. My job is to do whatever it takes to get on the right side of the numbers, said Elizabeth. The original Vokai are not the biggest fan of Dan, so if I can play up that card in whatever way possible, I'll do it. Honestly, I've felt safe this entire time, and if I had felt uncomfortable, I would have said, please stop, she added. That's interesting, because you can see similar stories to this, where there's questions raised about how someone might be mutual. Actually, there's who's a good example? There's one story, I think it may be Matt Lauer, and this is not a guy who deserves a defense for the most part, but there was one story where apparently this woman repeatedly engaged in this affair with him, and later came out and said that he was abusing her, and she felt like he had all this power over her. And here it goes. Like Matt Lauer is supposed to read your mind. Now, for the most part, the stories about Lauer are pretty bad and pretty damning. So, the guy doesn't need defense. But I do think facts are important. And if it turns out that a woman writes a book or something to this effect and says she did this for career gain, maybe we should take that seriously and consider it's possible. Look, if someone comes out and makes a claim against somebody, it should be investigated. All the way around. Like period. We can't have people going around alleging false crimes, and we can't have people, being falsely accused, and we can't have people being criminals. So if you're going to come out and make a claim against somebody, there's a serious challenge. If you make an accusation in this case, they're using the accusation to try and win, monetary gain. And we've seen potential similar things where women have tried to use this for career gain. Does that mean every woman always, all the time? No, of course not. It could only be 1%. But we got to make sure we do check. We do. You can't just blindly believe everyone who tells you something, because then you're going to find people will lie to you all the time. Kelly came to show producers with her concerns, who proceeded to issue an official warning to Dan for his behavior. Ironically, Dan was not the one sent home on Wednesday night's episode. When it came time to vote, Janet voted against Dan due to her personal emotional need to have these girls feel okay on the island. Meanwhile, Missy and Elizabeth voted for Kelly to be knocked off the island. Whoa! Missy, they turned on her, reported people. Ultimately, Kelly was sent home. What? And Janet and the rest of the contestants soon learned the truth of this disheartening situation. Whoa. Drama time. Check this out. Missy and Elizabeth, they're the women who were, those are the women who backed up Kelly. They set her up to fail. They lied and then voted against her. Man. Wow. After learning the truth of the situation, Janet said that Missy and Elizabeth exaggerating their Me Too stories disgusted her, and even considered quitting the episode as a result. Later, when Dan confronted the two women, they denied ever feeling uncomfortable by his actions. Talk about Machiavellian, whatever the word is. A ridiculously circuitous plan to back up a Me Too allegation, to pit people against Dan, but then turn around and get rid of Kelly. That's weird. Now here's what's crazy. Kelly, apparently, she must have been genuine, I suppose, saying that she actually talked to producers, but these other women are now saying they never felt uncomfortable at all. So is it possible that even Kelly was making something up, or that Dan was just inappropriate to her? Why are we talking about this weird gossip? I don't know. It's kind of fun. Let's finish this. Let's finish the story. My viewpoint is that if I have never felt uncomfortable, my viewpoint is that I have never felt uncomfortable, Elizabeth said. I know what people are talking about, but it's more in a joking way, and maybe that's where we're on the wrong side of it, because we shouldn't be joking about it. Oh, now trying to save face, being like, oh, okay, maybe the joke, no, it really did happen. Man, these people are awful, huh? Despite that, Dan later apologized during tribal council for his behavior. I work in the most high-wire industry in regard to this business. Most of my clients are women. Most of the people I work with are women, he said. I work in an industry in which the Me Too movement was formed and allowed, thank God, to blossom and become powerful and strong. My personal feeling is that if anyone ever felt for a second uncomfortable at anything I've ever done, I'm horrified about that and I'm truly sorry. So here we have an instance where these women not only admitted that they weren't comfortable, but that they lied to try and pressure someone off the island. Think about situations where where they have no obligation to admit it, where they stand to gain financially, substantially, if they make those claims. And then think about all of these industries. Man, I'll tell you what. Typically, when someone makes a claim against their superior, they're going to settle out of court. And that is a mistake. I'll tell you all right now, if someone makes a claim against you, you got to fight it in court. And here's the problem. There's too much leverage now on one side. If they make an accusation against you, the challenge is that if it goes public, people will just believe it's real. If you pay the settlement, eventually the settlement becomes public, and then people say, ha, you admitted it. If you go to trial, they're going to accuse you of trying to, fight the truth and refuse accountability. It's tough. What do you say? My personal feelings that I'm sorry. If that person was Kelly, if Kelly ever felt that in the freezing cold rain or in tight shelters, or in all the ways we have to crawl around and through each other in this game, if I ever did anything that has even remotely made her feel uncomfortable, it horrifies me. No. Full stop, dude. Dude, if you feel uncomfortable about me doing my normal thing, that's on you, okay? What he's saying here is totally incorrect. If you did something inappropriate, apologize for it. If you happen to be crawling around because you're on a game show, don't apologize for it. It doesn't matter whether I'm aware of it. Yes, it does. It doesn't matter whether I've ever sensed it. It doesn't matter whether I knew it happened or didn't happen. You know what, man? Grow a spine, you whiny babies. If I'm hanging out with someone and they're like, that joke you said made me uncomfortable, I'll be like, okay, there's a table over there. You can go away. I'm gonna do my thing in it. Nobody can tell me what I can or can't do. It's absurd. If you do wrong and you say, okay, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. But in the normal course of your life, okay, shaking someone's hand, please don't reach and touch my hand. How dare you? I'm like, shut up, dude. I couldn't be more sorry. I couldn't be more confident in that I'm one of the kindest, gentlest people I know, he concluded. I have a wife. I've been married for 21 years. I have 2 boys. I have a big business. I have lots of employees. I think what upset everybody here is that this has somehow turned into gameplay. Well, I'll tell you what's really upsetting. I don't care about you touching somebody, and not realizing they didn't like it because they didn't say so. Listen, like these women said, if he ever made them uncomfortable, they would have just said, please stop. They lied about inappropriate touching to try and win the game. Real life is a competition. And the stakes are even greater than a game. They have no problem admitting it because it's a game. But what about in the real world where they won't admit it? And that's the problem. So no, I'm sorry. While I certainly respect any victim of any crime coming forward and reporting it, we don't just believe anyone at any point for everything. If a person comes up to me and says X happened, I'll say, okay, let's look into it. But it doesn't mean I believe them. It means we'll act on good faith and give someone the benefit of the doubt if they've been victimized. But it does stand to reason, especially with evidence like this. Sometimes people are seeking to exploit you and to use your goodwill to manipulate you. I'll leave it there. Stick around. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you shortly.